Peace, and welcome to our top 10 town and village themes in video games. I have a feeling there will be a lot of RPGs on our list today, but any village or town theme does qualify. So let's get this started. In at number 10, we have Phantasy Star 4 and the Town of Motavia. First released in 1993 in Japan, and then in 1995 for North America and Europe. Our first up is a classic tune that takes advantage of the Yamaha sound chip in the Sega Genesis. This is an impressive display of its capabilities. Twang, you have no power here. This theme is quite clear. I have no compression complaints. It's not the most in-depth beat, but it's very effective considering the limitations of the hardware. Our next up at number 9 is Tenchu Stealth Assassins, delivering the secret message. Composed and arranged by Noriyuki Asakura. Great theme from an even better soundtrack. Somehow, Tenchu still manages to squeeze into our top 10s. I really enjoy the bass line throughout the entire track, and the piano around the 45-second mark really tops it off. It has a chaotic feel, which is a good fit for sneaking through a hostile environment and you don't know what's around the next corner. Number 8 is from Ys 5, The Stormy Town. Released for the Super Famicom in 1995, it was never released outside of Japan. It definitely has a Super Nintendo feel. I can picture this one on a number of different games on the console. The SNES console contains a sound chip which can produce up to 8 channels of audio. This is only 3 more than the NES, but the big difference is the quality of audio and samples. Higher quality doesn't always mean better music, however, it may result in a cleaner sound. In 2006, there was a remake released for the PS2, and of course, released in Japan only. It features new arrangements, and I do prefer the original. The new soundtrack is a good example of higher quality doesn't equal better music or better sound. Lucky number 7 is from Air Zonk. The Stage 2 theme, Brains Town. Released in 1992 for the TurboGrafx 16, this console can pump out some really good tunes, and this one is a fine example. Not your typical town theme, this one is more action-oriented, but it makes sense in the game. Air Zonk is a shmup, and in this stage you fly through Brains Town. I like the energy behind the theme, it jams right along and one can easily find their head nodding to the beat. Number 6 comes from Dragon Quest, also known as Dragon Warrior, the town theme. Appearing in the first Dragon Quest game and many games in the series since then, including this version from the Game Boy. The Game Boy theme is similar to the NES, however, I really enjoy the SNES version. It's a fine showcase of the drastic difference in sound in the NES and the SNES. The NES version is definitely what we call bleeps and bloops, while the SNES one is a lot more natural. It's very smooth, and it's a nice rendition in its own right. Number 5 comes from Golden Axe, the first Turtle Village theme. One of my favorite Sega games, maybe not so much the sequel, but this first one is a great game with great music. Maybe not your typical village stage. Usually when you come across a village, it's to stock up on supplies, maybe find a weapon shop and get some new weapons or some new armor. However, in this game, you are here to eradicate the enemy and free the villagers from their terror, and the music reflects that. First coming out in arcades with later releases on many different computers and consoles. My first experience with Golden Axe comes from the Sega Genesis, and I think most people might say the same thing. This is a fantastic soundtrack from beginning to end. Unlucky number 4 is from Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, The Silence of Daylight. Another NES game on our list today, the NES sound chip produces some excellent sounds, and a talented composer can do some amazing things. This isn't a game I think about when I think of towns or villages, but it makes sense. It's common for a town to surround a castle. Composed by Matsubara Kenichi, he composed some of the great Castlevania themes, including Bloody Tears, one of the most popular in the entire series. The Silence of Daylight plays in the town during the daytime. It's your typical Castlevania theme. It's way too good to just be a simple town theme. In at number 3, we have Final Fantasy VI and the theme of Zozo, Slam Shuffle. Also known as Final Fantasy III in the States, this entire soundtrack was composed by Nobuo Uematsu, one of the greatest video game composers of all time. This one was difficult to narrow down. The main series has 15 games, then throw in spin-offs and other related games, and you easily have more than 40 or 50 total games. We had it narrowed down to Mystic Mysidia from Final Fantasy IV, Cosmo Canyon from Final Fantasy VII, and many, many more. We won't list them all, otherwise we would be here all day. Every time I arrive in Zozo, I have to take a second to appreciate the music. It has a funky sound, and that bass line is top tier. In our silver position today, we have Mast in the Mist, from Uncharted Waters, New Horizons. This one is a repeat offender, but what can I say? It's one of the best pieces of music in a game that I have ever heard. If we do a top 10 music pieces of all time, expect to see this one on the list. In my opinion, it's that good. Composed by Yoko Kanno, it's a fantastic theme. This has been in previous top 10s, so I won't repeat myself. I'll just say I really enjoy it, and that I recommend the Sega Saturn or the Sony PlayStation theme. They are both outstanding. Our top spot today comes from The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo, the theme of Kakariko Village. When we pick our top 10s, we don't just pick the best musical compositions, but we like to take a look at everything surrounding it as well. And this theme is top tier no matter how we look at it. First of all, we pick themes we like. I can't, in good faith, put a theme that I don't like in the top 10 just because it's popular. Composed by Koji Kondo, maybe you first heard it in A Link to the Past, like me, or maybe you know it from Ocarina of Time. Or perhaps A Link Between Worlds. However you know the theme, I think we can all agree it's a classic. There you have our favorite village and town themes in gaming. If we missed any, please let us know in the comments. For our next top 10, check the pinned comment. We still plan on doing the top 10 European video game composers, but it's gonna require a lot of research and listening, so it's gonna take a while. Anyway, huge shout out to gold level patrons Bearsona and Quantum X. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.